show for today. We're talking to Pastor KWalker and Representative Brenda Gilmore from the Tennessee General Assembly, and the topic is the empowerment of the community politically. And Pastor Walker, let's see if we can pick up buying in on some of the information that Representative Gilmore gave us the last segment. Let's see if we can talk about the church in reference to getting people out to participate and understanding the importance of the suffrage now.
Okay, well, let me first of all, let me weigh in on, because Representative Gilmore made a statement about the 15% of the people are voting, you know, and then, you know, if 15% of the people are voting now, and then you got all these voter suppression laws that are being implemented throughout the country, then that 15% will be diminished as well. So that's really scary right there, you know. So there really needs to be a lot of attention and a lot of focus placed up on what's going on with all these voter disenfranchisement laws, all these voter suppression laws and things like that. And I think, as a matter of fact, I think there's a super voting thing that's sponsored by State Representative Brenda Gilmore that's coming up here soon. Dr. Haney, I really want to hear what she got to say.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying too, in reference to it, and that's why we want you to make some statements in reference to that, because I'm amazed that you're talking about 15% of the population. I would have said at least 65%, you know, or something like that.
No, that's pretty dismal, isn't it? It is pretty dismal. And in reference to the Super Voter Registration Day, we're encouraging all churches, all fraternities, any organization, even individuals, to conduct a voter registration on August 19th. And it doesn't have to be large and massive. You can use your own family. All of us got people in our families that need to be registered. You can use your church. You can take 2 streets in your neighborhood. Just go door to door, knocking on the doors, encouraging people to register to vote. Or after church, we're encouraging ministers, similar to Reverend Walker, to tell their parishioners, don't be embarrassed, because sometimes people are embarrassed to say, I'm not registered to vote, but they need to step up to the plate and register to vote. And I wanted to give you an example of a piece of legislation that we passed this General Assembly. It says that individuals on family furs, food stamps, they have to undergo a drug test. And when members of the legislature try to encourage this sponsor not to do that, the comment that was made was that it polled well. And we were just taken back that someone would pass massive legislation like this just simply because it polled well. And and the similar legislation was passed in Florida, and the legislators had to pull it back. One, because it's costly to actually drug test somebody. And what they found that was people who are taking on welfare or food stamp or family first wasn't any more prone to use drugs than the general population. It was such a small percentage. It was something like 2% of the people who were actually taking drugs. And that should send a message to us that those people need help. They need help. We shouldn't punish them further, or their children, by drug testing them and then cutting off their benefits. Not that I'm condoning, but I want people to know I'm not condoning drug use.
That so many are involved in this situation, that they ought to be given some kind of opportunity to get out of the situation that they find themselves in.
We should give them help.
That is, instead of punishing them, as it would suggest to me that would be the purpose of the legislation. And so you believe that the ministers also should.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's almost like it's almost like an attack on the children, more so than anything else, because who hurts the most if a parent, say, go and drug test positive for some marijuana? Well, they get kicked out. The children, now the children are homeless. The children have less of a chance of opportunity, you know, to progress in life, because now they're in a situation where, I mean, where they're actually homeless, nowhere to go. So, you know, it hurts the children more so than anything else. It's almost like a backdoor type of situation in my thinking, you know. It's kind of like, I'm grooming you now. I'm going to groom these children now for the prison system, because we know mass incarceration in the United States of America is a reality. We imprison more of our citizens than any other country, you know. So, and you know, whatever we can do to feed that process, you know, but to hear a legislature say that, you know, I'm introducing this bill so because it polls well in my community and it makes my numbers look better. And, you know, it looks better. no matter if it's going to solve anything, no matter if it's going to help anybody or anything like that. It just makes me look good.
It gives me a
me back in
political seat.
office. Yeah,
It keeps me in office. And,
yeah, and that's crazy.
Do you find that to be general in the Tennessee legislature, that individuals seem to be more concerned about themselves than about the welfare of the people and et cetera?
No, I would say that that's probably a very small percentage. I think that most legislatures, most of my colleagues really care about the people that they represent. And again, you know, I encourage the constituents out there and the Tennesseans that just don't elect us and then never look in. You can come down. I invite everybody to come down, sit in those meetings. I've seen Reverend Walker down there. Come down and walk down the Capitol. Sit in. You'd be surprised when we look out in that audience and we see constituents that care about issues, how that influences us.
And so this whole idea of community empowerment really is an idea that has to work if the community
I
is
think
going to
everybody has to take some responsibility. And it doesn't require a degree. It doesn't require a formal education to be involved. We need everybody. We knocked on doors this past summer when we were helping in the Metro Council races, and there were people who said, "I don't vote," and it would just almost break my heart.
How do you react to that? Because I know that and some folks who do that also counsel others not to vote. I mean, what do you say to folks?
I mean, I tried to explain this particular time we were in the housing projects, and I tried to explain to them some of the laws that were pending at that time that would have a dramatic effect on their lives just because the right person wasn't sitting in that seat. And the only way to change that, the vote, that is the one thing that makes a difference. And it takes all of us working together. It takes the church, it takes the community leaders, and all of us to encourage everybody out there to get out and vote so we can get that 15% bumped up to at least 50%. We need at least 50% of the vote. It would be wonderful if 70% of them vote.
It would be great if you could have 70%. That would rule the roost in a real sense.
And I'll tell you a secret, and I'll probably get blackballed for this. There are also a number of ministers that do not vote.
Yeah, see, that's the crazy stuff right there.
Yeah, well, that is the crazy thing.
And we really need for our ministers to step up and to be role models for their congregation.
Well, now, what would be the rationale for? I
I
don't
think
know.
people just get busy in their lives. They don't realize the importance of it.
What about registration? Because now you have to register before you vote. And
That's right.
We're entering a very, very important election season here, and folks who are not, how long do they have now between now and the election to register to vote?
They can register up until October the 8th.
October the 8th.
And you know, of course, the election's coming up in November. Is it November the 2nd or the 4th?
The 4th.
November the 4th.
And so they can register up to October the 8th. And so you would encourage this morning those individuals that might hear us or might be listening and et cetera.
Oh, yeah, and it's very simple form. It just asks your basic information, your name, your address. It does ask for your social security number. It asks if you're an American citizen, if you ever been convicted of a felony. And it asks for your phone number, and you have to sign the statement.
And then you're registered to vote.
We turn that in to the Metro Election Commission if it's in Davidson County, or wherever the county, if it's in Rutherford County or Robertson County, is into their election commission, and it takes usually about 2 weeks to get your card. They send your card back. And I would tell people who are listening too, if you don't get your card back, call. You know, we have to use a little bit of, what's that? A little bit of motivation ourselves. Call and say, you know,
initiative
yes,
is what we need to do.
I registered and I haven't received my card. Because they've gotten behind at Metro Election Commission too. We've had to call and say, you know, my constituents don't have their cards. What's going on there?
It's crucial for those who might be listening this morning who are not registered to go and register tomorrow if they are going to vote.
I would say run.
Run and register tomorrow if they need to vote. Is
That's
that
right, and then vote.
Vote,
It's
okay.
2 parts, register and
vote.
then vote.
And both are free in a real sense. To be in a free country, to be able to do that without any kind of penalty or whatever is a blessing itself.
It
And
is.
if you check her track record, you'll know that your vote does count. Because you can see that, you know, you put the right person in office and she's out there
She's
working.
doing what has to be done. And of course, let me thank the two of you for coming by and
Thank
giving
you.
us that
Thank you for
excellent
the
information.
invitation.
And let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.